do mixed reviews highlight the system or the systemic ageism that has historically plagued hip hop culture? And the mixed reviews from this particular Jay freestyle, because I've seen extremes from both sides.
I have too.
I've seen like people that are just like, this is nothing, and it seems like it's coming from like Drake stans a little bit. Is what
a little bodish.
Yeah, maybe.
I've seen some reputable people say that. As far as reputable, I'm saying like associates or friends that I might have posted and said they weren't as thrilled about this Jay-Z freestyle as they've been in the past. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with ageism necessarily, but it kind of feels, from what I've kind of seen in the hyper online space, it does kind of feel like there's two different type of approaches, especially when you're criticizing an MC and that fan base is typically fans of people that don't MC. It's like two different types of music, rap music, if you will. They don't get it.
I know. Yeah. So that's the ageism piece, like get your old ass out of the way.
And then it boils back down to numbers with them. They only pay attention to numbers. So like I've seen
that's Jay's
somebody
fault, though.
Well, it is. I actually shot a video about that, him saying that and how it kind of...
He started it.
Men lie, women lie.
Numbers don't.
But yeah, numbers actually do. But like in this situation, because he went at Drake, obviously, his stands... I'm surprised the Barbs haven't said nothing about Jay-Z, or maybe I just haven't seen it. But
Nicki kind of hurt her base a little bit.
She did. Yeah, you are correct on that. But like, Drake's fans are rebuttaling this situation with Jay only has 4 #1 Billboard songs and they all feature somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. So
none of y'all were alive when these dropped.
Come on, man. So Jay is a special individual when it comes to music and culture, because he's somebody that literally shifted the culture and has, contributed to the culture in a positive way. And has moved the culture forward.
Depending on how
to me, it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
If you are artists that, and this is just as far as the industry goes, if you're an artist that came up in the streaming era, you'll never really understand what it means for an artist that actually had to sell physical copies. You know what I mean? Like the two don't equate. Yeah, you've streamed 50 million times. I sold 3 million hard copies. And these 3 million hard copies, it really shows every time I throw a show.
And this is no shot at Drake necessarily, more his fans, but I've seen a lot of his fans say that Drake was a part of the CD era.
No,
Drake was not a part of the CD era.
When So Far Gone came out, it
was after. It was like when it was completely dying.
Yeah,
So
Thank Me Later. Yeah, that's really
that's the only CD of. And by the time it got to
Take Care,
Take Care. Those were CD era records. I'll
say this. So like, there were CDs made and people purchased them.
But it was over.
But we were outside of that era.
It was bootleg. It was mixtapes.
Apple Music, streaming was starting. Pandora, all of that stuff.
They were trying to combat
piracy.
Piracy. It's like the CD era was not the CD era like early 2000s.
Yeah, Drake never had an album that shit platinum.
Yeah, it's
like this. Jay is from a time where the day my album drops, the record company is shipping platinum out to all the record stores because we know that it's going to sell.
This is his first album was 2008, right?
2000 who? Drake?
Yeah, 2008, 2009?
9 or 10.
Okay. And that's way after then.
Yeah.
No, I want to say it's
iTunes was a thing.
We'll probably was later.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to say you just liked Oh You Fancy, you could just buy that record. You know,
I could pick and choose what I wanted off of your album.
Yeah.
I don't want your I'm gonna just buy 3 songs and I'm good with that.
I know CDs were still a thing, but they were definitely aging out. Yeah. This is as somebody who was releasing CDs at the time.
Yeah, and the thing is, at that point, if I bought your CD, I really must have enjoyed your record. I mean, I think the last big CD day for me was when Blueprint 3 and Only Built for Cuban Links 2 came out. I remember I bought both those albums the same day.
I actually bought Drake's first album that came out on CD.
I did too.
What I can touch on though real quick when we're talking about ageism and comparing it to like newer artists, I think what will tell the test of time is whatever artist that like a younger crowd is listening to and favoring now, if that music still stands the test of time 10, 15, 20 years from now, is it still going to have that same impact? Because it's almost like it's disrespectful to me to see somebody that's very successful in music and the music still moves and it still means something, that you would pin something new up against something old versus staying power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what kind of stands out to me as far as when people want to pit two artists together or want to compare an artist that's newer to an artist that's older.
Yeah.
It's like you still have to stick around. Your artist still has to stick around to be able to get to this point that this older artist is already in.
I've seen some comments like, I don't know anybody that put some Jay-Z on. It's like, all right, well, you're kind of showing your age a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
you're just not in those spaces.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
fine.
Just like that was definitely a thing, and I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan. So
but like, I'm in, we're 20 years into Take That Tuesday. There's almost a Jay-Z record that's been played every night, every Tuesday for the past 20 years.
Come on, man.
Whether it be his new shit, whether it be something classic, underground feature, like Jay-Z gets run in a lot of spaces, and just because you're not there doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But it's the same way we're like, look, man, I'm not in the spaces where 42 Doug gets played on a regular basis. At least not anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
and they exist here in Indianapolis.
A lot of places exist that 42 Doug is the man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ever want to discount that either. And and that, because that would put you into the old man category if you act like you don't know who these people are or what their impact is. But at the same time, they're starting their career and their run. Let's see in 20 years if 42 Doug still has that thing.
Yeah. Man, the telltale sign is going to be the show.
Yeah.
Like in 10 years, 20 years, are people going to care enough to want to come see you perform these songs that you did 10 to 20 years ago?
Maybe. It depends if that's the metric anymore. Because who knows if the metric is... Right now, the metric is you don't have to be great at music. You just have to be a character. You just have to be a person. You just have to be somebody.
For now, but again, in 10 to 20 years, is somebody going to want to come back? Because that song is not going to really be generating money for you like it was.
Maybe not. We don't know, right?
Am I going to want to come see you perform those records?
Yeah, but my godson, it's a big deal when Travis Scott shows up in Fortnite. Like that's not that he goes to concerts, but that means as much to him, So if whatever Fortnite is in 20 years, or if there is a Fortnite or whatever the evolution of Fortnite is, maybe that'll be the gathering place.
Did he pay to see that though? Did he pay to see Travis Scott in Fortnite?
Nah, you just get on Fortnite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in 10 to 20 years, are people going to pay to still want to see you?
I think. As much as the landscape is changing all the time, I just don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if that's going to be the metric in 20 years. That's my only rebuttal to that. Like,
just like the metric,
I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like for people.
Just like the metric for physical records sold doesn't mean anything anymore.
They tried to translate it, but it doesn't mean the same. You know what I mean?
No.
So I don't know. I'm curious about that piece.
Okay,
or whatever it translates to.
It doesn't mean something to when you talk about metrics as far as the industry goes, but it definitely means something to the artists.
If they consider themselves artists, though, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it matters because that's how they get paid. That's why people are pressing up vinyl now. You know what I mean? And selling it.
Some people, I think,
because it's a
360
merch
deal.
I think some of these content creators, because to call them artists is really giving them too much credit. They just see themselves as marketing tools.
That's what I mean.
Let me just go ahead and get this Happy Meal off the ground. I'll get an earbud deal and maybe a shoe deal. If I can take care of that, then I'm not really worried about the actual music and performing in front of people. I've got my money.
Yeah, because they count those as numbers.
And if the entire ecosystem is based off virality, which it is right now, the For You algorithm, it's not about retaining anything. It's just about continually striking
when
the
iron's
iron
hot. Yeah.
over and over again, you know, and sure, maybe some things will stick, but we're seeing a lot of artists that are just doing that on a repetitive basis. And so the staying power I don't think the staying power will be the same for most artists, just because that's not the type of ecosystem that artistry seems to be leaning toward. Well, I don't even want to say artistry. I would just say more so like the industry aspect of it is not leaning towards that anymore.
So it's like the difference between Jay-Z and Ray J.
I would say it's like the difference between from a modern take, it would be the difference between
because you consistently see Ray J,
a Georgiana versus somebody that's building legacy through their music. Like,
I think a lot of these artists, they don't care enough.
Like a Marlon Craft.
Yeah, they don't care enough to create a legacy musically. They're doing this for the now.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to be popping right now. They could care less what happens later. They're in it to get whatever they can get out of it right now and move on.
Yeah. I'm very curious, to that point that you're making. I'm very curious what this will look like in 20 years, because I'm fascinated by that, but I don't think it's going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I think for the people that are like legitimately artists, I think it will. But we're in this space to where we compare like who the biggest artist is with the most successful, like as a Jay-Z who's actually good and is actually cares about his craft and all that stuff. Like, I don't know if that top person is going to be that same type of person in the future.
Well, who would you consider the top person right now?
Like from
I don't know, because
that cares about the art.
I don't know, because I don't look at it from that perspective. Mm-hmm. So it's like I kind of reject it in a way. So it like I would say right now, probably from a hip hop perspective, the way who I look at that as is Kendrick has been holding that.
That's
slot,
what I was thinking.
Right, and Kendrick fans are not the ones that are arguing against Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular type of way. It's the other fandom, you know, and so it's like that's that silo, which I don't think, you know, you'll be able to compare Kendrick's legacy with the Jay-Z. You're not going to be able to compare other artists whose primary goal isn't like the art first.
It's moment music.
That's you know, like even Drake kind of balances it a little bit.
I'm glad you said the name, because I thought that's who you was talking about.
Well, I feel like his fans, but I feel like he's in between a little bit, but more so I would say, you know, like a Playboy Cardi or Travis Scott even, or, you know, there's a handful of art, but yeah, Georgiana, stuff like that. People that reach that type of success, and I know she's smaller in comparison, but like people that reach that particular success, but it's not like I'm going to make this really great thing and it's going to be the groundwork or in the solid base everything's built upon. The solid base is just the virality aspect, and this is just a thing that they do, and I feel like those are different starting points.
It's certain people that I can't put in that category though. Like, I can't, like, you to your examples of Playboy Cardi, Travis Scott, even one of my favorites right now is Don Toliver. That is not necessarily hip hop. That's a whole nother something, man. I don't know. It's like a hybrid of things.
Sure.
It's a hybrid of rap, rock, trance music. It's like something completely different over there.
Yeah.
It's vibes, man.
Yeah. I don't know what to call that, but they just call it rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the only people I could really put in that same space are the Jays, the Coles, the Kendricks,
Tyler, you know, stuff like that. I feel like those comparisons, to your point, I guess, and then I'll kind of wrap it up. But to the point, I feel like that type of comparison of like, what do these legacies look like in the future to compare with Jay-Z's? It has to be an artist that approaches it in a similar type of manner than Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be comparing people that don't approach the craft in the same type of way.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense. And so, like, maybe you can do that with a Tyler because he cares. Maybe you can do that with a Freddie Gibbs, or maybe you can do that with, you know, like a Mick Jenkins, or maybe some of the bigger artists like Cole and Kendrick, and maybe even Drake.
Yeah, I was about to say, you damn near can't leave Drake out based on what he is.
But what I'm saying is like, those are different styles. Those are different, and the fan bases are different because they're even gauging the metrics different. You know, like, so I don't know. I'd be curious what that looks like.